If you can't reframe reality, then you are stuck with what you have. No matter what. And you can sit around and wait for someone else to try to give you the way, or you can be connected to the way yourself. So I'll repeat it again. If you can't reframe your reality, you are stuck with what you have, right? What you have is a function of your frame. It is a function of your reality. So I did a live yesterday on this. If you didn't see it, go back and see it. It's here on my page. They kind of set the stage for us. I'm going to do a little series here with you with ideas that are not new. These are foundational frames and concepts that we have used here at Wake Up Warrior for almost 15 years. They are the same frameworks and fundamentals at a certain level that nearly every men's movement that you see in the space, which most were born in 2020 during COVID, are using. Why? Because they work. Why? Because they're true. So I sit in this conversation. Yesterday, I'm in a conversation with 9 different guys, okay? Either in Zoom, on a phone, or in person. Today, we've got virtual trainings. Let me show you. I'm trying to show you this so that you can see I'm not just some dude who found some shit on ChatGPT last week and decided to come teach you some shit. Like, there was a lot of you who got a ton of DMs yesterday around this concept, men and women. Let me show you. I'm going to talk about it. Let me back that up. I may not be able to walk over there. Hold on. Anyway, let me see if I can scooch down the hallway and show you if it's going to disconnect on me. Stay with me, Wi-Fi. Stay with me. Okay, here it is. I made it. Okay, it's back. It's right here. We have training going on right now. This is one of my studios right here. Okay, and we're working through the same concepts I'm about to show you. Come back to me. All right, we're going back to my office. We're in the 10X Center in Miami. Yep, Grant Cardone's building. And everything my teams have been about is stacked on these frames. So let's come back to the concept. It's real simple. If I can't reframe my reality, I cannot change what I have. Now, if you have what you want, guess what? Don't reframe reality. Just own that shit. And people will try to attack your reality when the reality you have, you love. So this goes both directions, right? It's like breaking your frame, but also having other people break your frame, which is a problem. Because you might really love what your life is right now in a certain area, and you got people with fucking opinions about what you should and shouldn't be thinking. And you have to know how to not only how to reframe, but you have to know how to protect your frame from the cancerous influence from people who want to break your frame when you don't want your frame broken. Now, here comes the paradox. In order to get something new, you have to let go. You can't keep holding on to what your frame is. And we get to a place with something in our world. I'm gonna go to the board. Come with me to the board. And it's called this. What is new becomes normal. And what is new? So what is new becomes normal. And guess what? What is normal becomes numb. Watch this. You got something new, then it became normal, and then you got numb because it wasn't new anymore. This is the problem that many of us are facing with this onslaught of technology. Because you, every single day on your cell phone, get to see a whole bunch of people who have shit that you think you want that you don't have. Wasn't like that. For me growing up, I just grew around 4 kids. I didn't know none. Trailers and cornbread and powdered milk. That was my world. If you had top ramen noodles, you were a rich kid in my neighborhood. Right? You had the top. We had a friend. We would go to his house because his parents were rich. Because they would get huge cases of top ramen from the Costco. And then we would go make top ramen. That was high eating for me. That was the world I came from. So when the idea of being rich came into my world, it did not happen until I read the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. Okay, I had no concept of it. I thought I was going to be a professional athlete, too white, too slow. Didn't work. Right? You guys can't hear me? Hopefully that's not the case. Can you hear me right now? If you can hear me, I'm going to keep going. If you can't hear me, I'm going to stop. Type in yes, if you can hear me. I think you can. I don't want to just go on and on if you can't hear me. Okay, you can hear me. Okay, good. Somebody says no sound, and everybody else is saying yes. All right, so whoever no sound is, you probably like hooked up to your headphones. Okay, good. So I want you to see this. Whether we're dealing with the topic of money, or we're dealing with the topic of marriage, you're dealing with your body, you're dealing with your relationship with God, whatever you're dealing with, you have a container that you have determined is true. And I grew up in a container where poverty was the standard and scarcity was reality. That was the frame I was raised in. Scarcity, fear, doubt, worry around rich. And I had a story about rich people, which I had inherited from my parents, which is rich people are greedy, mean, and awful. And they do horrible things to people and typically cheat on their spouses. So from the time I was young, I was raised to believe this. Why? Because we had hardly any money. I didn't know how to make money. I didn't know anybody with money. I didn't know anyone who had even a cool minivan. Like I had nothing. I was a kid embarrassed to be dropped off at school because I hated our car because it was so disgusting and such a piece of shit. And I was embarrassed. I was a kid with the same tennis shoes for like 2 straight years. I didn't have like new clothes. Like my mom gave me like $25 to $35 a year for school clothes. That's what we had. That was it. So I didn't know anything else. And then I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And what happened is my frame shattered. Like it shattered. Like completely shattered. And all of a sudden I started to see something new about myself. Something new about what was possible. So let's come to the board again. Check out what's happening. So we talked about this in our last one. Which is anytime I'm coming for something new, that means I've had to go through the following, which is I have a current reality that I exist in called frame. Here, called B. Okay, if this is me poor, and this is me rich, these two versions of me, I've lived both. Poor Garrett, and also rich Garrett. These two are the same guy. They are both in me. That guy was in that guy. This guy was holding that guy hostage. This guy right here. Now, come to the topic of sex. I had a sexual relationship with my wife. It was horrible. Like, we were not good at sex. Like, it was not a good thing for us. Not healthy, not fun at all. It was rough for us for a decade plus. But guess what? That shifted big time to like deep sexual revolution for both of us. So inspiring, connected. Well, again, this sex life was in that guy also. But this guy had to shake, he had to break and reframe who he saw himself to be that guy. Poor dude, horrible sex. Rich dude, great sex. Now, these are not equated. It doesn't just because you're rich doesn't mean you got great sex, and just because you're poor doesn't mean you're going to have bad sex. I'm just saying this was my story. I was poor, horrible sex in my marriage. Rich, great sex in my marriage. What shifted? I broke the frame. So let's look at what a frame is, though. A frame is a function of 4 things. Okay, and at the foundation is if you don't understand how to break it, you're done. So again, coming back to our A, on this frame, in order for me to break it, I have to identify that at the foundation of this frame are my laws. These are my subconscious realities that I have told myself for so long that I will defend them. I will defend those laws. People will come at me and try to help you, okay? Try to help me. But your laws, you'll defend even when your results don't fucking work. Even when the shit you have you don't want anymore. Even when the world you've created is no good at all. It's no good. And you're like, but you'll defend it. Like, how many of you know this is true? Type in me in the chat. Like, you'll defend it. Like, your wife will try to get you to see the world a different way, but you won't see the world a different way because what? Because your laws say you cannot be that guy or that gal. You cannot go to that place. You don't even know they're your laws because you've been living them for so long. It's all you know. It's like a dog shit cupcake. If you and I are eating dog shit cupcakes, guess what? If we eat them long enough and our mouth and face gets covered with dog shit and you've got them, and I'm eating dog shit cupcakes, and you're eating dog shit cupcakes, we pretty soon don't even recognize that we're eating dog shit cupcakes until someone else shows up who says, you guys smell like shit. And all of a sudden, you smelling like shit, you're like, what? We don't smell like shit. And you're like, yeah, you do. Why are you guys eating dog shit cupcakes? Well, because this is what we do. We eat dog shit cupcakes. You want one? And the person outside is going, no, that's disgusting. Why would I ever have a dog shit cupcake? That's a horrible plan. Who told you to do that? You're like, well, that's what I've always known is eating dog shit cupcakes because my friends and my parents and the people before them ate dog shit cupcakes. And so we eat them too. So you should have them with us. And then you defend your position as a dog shit cupcake eater. Now, the person who does not buy into this dog shit cupcake game you're playing is completely confused looking at you with dog shit all over your face. And this is most men in marriage. And this is most men in money. And this is most men in life. They're walking around with dog shit all over the face. Call them kings of the shitheads. They don't even know they're doing it. So then you have an event like Man in Arena. And all of a sudden, the dog shit gets blown off. I come with hoses. Spray the shit out of you with these hoses. And then we torch you with fire. And you're like, what have I been doing? You're like, we told you. We used to eat dog shit cupcakes too. That's how we knew you were eating them. We know what that smells like. We know how disgusting they taste. But we also know what it's like to be stuck in a frame that says this is what you're worth and this is what I tolerate. And it's horrendous. And so the foundational piece of understanding this is you have to actually be open to the possibility that the current frame you're living in and the laws that support it, that you don't even understand, you're not even aware of, are the bars in the prison of your own damnation. This is why God speaks about in Timothy, there is a renewing of the mind. And by the way, side note, people are blasting a ton of my friends who have come to Christ in the last couple of years because they're rough and they're intense and they cuss. Listen, dude, if that's you here, you just need to relax. Your frame says the following, which is he says fuck, and all of a sudden I can't listen. I've talked to so many Christians, I'm like, listen, I came to Christ 3 years ago. Here's what I need you to know. Okay? The men I reach for listen in a particular language. Period. I'm not here to talk to everybody. Never have been. But the 73,000 men that came through this place in the last 14 years, I can tell you right now, they were called to be here because the way I speak it is the way I'm called to speak it. And that's the same for you too. There's a way you're supposed to speak. The message God is asking you to speak. But many of you are so worried about what other people are going to think because your frame says, if people disagree with me, I must be wrong. My frame says, if people disagree with me, I must be on the path. There's a frame, and inside that frame, there are stories that you tell yourself. A lot of Christian people say, if you say the word fuck, you can't possibly be a Christian. I was like, okay, that's your story. That's not my truth. That's your story. No, that's how it is. No, I don't care how many scriptures you share with me. That is your story. That is your truth. I'm not disrespecting that is your truth, and you should probably never say the word fuck. But I am telling you right now, that is your reality, not mine. Well, how do you know? Because I talk directly to God, and so can you. And I've not been told to stop. One of my good friends, big speaker, big trainer right now. People give him tons of shit. He came to me and said, God told me to stop cussing. I said, oh, wow, I don't know how you're going to do that. He said, me neither, but I'm going to give a run at it. I said, good, go for it. He said, I think we should do that. I said, I don't think we should do anything. You should do what God's telling you to do. I will continue to do the best I can what God is telling me to do. That's it. So to my pastors who do what they're doing, keep doing you, bro. Keep doing you. Do what God is asking you to do. So again, our frames and where we put the greatest constraint on our frames is based upon the four walls of this frame. Check this, and then I'm going to wrap this. Your laws are unseen. You can't even see them. You don't even know they're there until somebody spray washes you like a Man Arena tour, and we just blast you, and for the first time you can see them. But we can't enter with your laws because you protect those with sacred intensity, even though most of your laws about life do not work, and they don't apply to everyone. They only apply to you. And, of course, you compelling and forcing your wife and your children to believe the same. Your laws are then backed up by your beliefs. So we create beliefs, which are surface. We can find those. Laws are hard to find. Those are hard to find because you've been anchoring on those forever. That is generational shit. This is generational poverty and scarcity, fear, doubt, and worry that I was given by my family, who was given by their family, who was given by their family, and 5 generations of broke people being completely stuck in this law. This is how it is. Beliefs. These are surface level. We can find beliefs. Okay? These beliefs support the laws. They're easier to find. Okay? And as we come across these, what we'll see are there's some fundamental principles for living that you have chosen to be true. You think you've created these not knowing most of the time. You're just influenced by social media and people around you, which is why you have to get away from people that you know to have a breakthrough, because they support you as your friend because you share the same unspoken laws. You have the similar beliefs and you operate from the similar principles. Now we come over here and look at your fruit and what you have is dog shit cupcakes. And you're like, it's like this. I'm not listening to a dude who's been divorced 4 times to tell me how to be successful in marriage. He's learned a lot of shit and getting divorced 4 times. I'm not even upset at him. That's his path. That's his path. But I'm not listening to him about counsel on how to stay married. Just like I'm not listening to an obese guy to try to tell me how to be fit. What are you going to tell me? By their fruit you will know them. So the challenge we get into is that not only do we worship the frames that we operate in with like religious vigor, like they were a religion, our laws and our beliefs and our principles. This is how life is. But we defend against other people contradicting it. That's why it's so hard to have a breakthrough. That's why you have to go to an environment, virtual or otherwise, that's more than just consuming content on Instagram, because the algorithm feed is going to serve you up most of the time everything that supports your laws, your beliefs, and your principles, which just reinforces this shit. It's like a whole bunch of women gathering around talking shit about their husbands until they get to a place where they're with women who don't talk shit about their husbands, and then they don't know what to do with themselves because they're used to hanging out with women where they just get to talk shit about how bad their husbands are. Then they show up in an environment with women respect their husbands, have deep love for their husbands, and love their husbands. Getting women together who believe that it's okay to withhold sex for weeks and weeks and weeks from their husband. Put them in an environment with other women who live the same laws, same beliefs, and same principles. They all start to support that this is how life is until they get into a situation with a woman who believes that having sex with her husband is not only something she desires, but it's something that fulfills them both, and they don't know what to do with themselves. This is like people coming to me about the Bible. I love the Bible. I'm in the Bible every day for an hour and a half. I've got thousands of men to read the Bible because of my commitment to read the Bible and study the Word every day. Do I read it the way everybody else does? No. I'm not interested in what the pastor has to say about it. See, there's a frame in that, a story, because a story is the 4th part of this box, and that's where we can get you. We can't get you at laws right out of the gate. It's hard to get you at beliefs, and it's very difficult to eradicate your principles for living. But what we can do is we look at the 4th side of this box, and that's where your stories are. These are the stories that you tell. They're surface. The stories are supported by the beliefs and principles and laws. These stories, if we can get at them, we open the box and we can get in. And if we can get in, we can light that bitch on fire. And what you're left with is nothing, which is terrifying. Because if you're left with nothing, what does that mean? You get to create something new. That's it. Something new. If you look at the story of Abraham, I love the story of Abraham. Here's this. Abraham asked God for some things. My hair is going crazy today. It's like a bunch of porcupine hair. What is this? What is this hair product doing? It's crazy. It's distracting me, so it's probably distracting you because it's distracting me. I'm putting my hair on like this. Abraham asked for some things from God. You're asking for things from God every day. In your prayers, in your hopes, in your desires, in your longing, in your suffering. And you're asking. And you have to understand, Abraham was asking too. And then God made a very specific request of Abraham, which he requests of all of us. 1, leave your country. 2, leave your house. And 3, leave your father's house. 3 requests God made of Abraham. leave your country, leave your family, leave your father's house. All three of these were requests from God for him to leave the frame he was comfortable in. Literally, physically moved himself away from his homeland, had to reframe his reality of life with his family, and had to eradicate the traditions his parents had taught him in order that he could listen to the next obedient path from God. But see, most of us are so hell-bent on defending our frames that we can never have a pivot. We never can have a pivot. And the pivot is this shift from seeing the world this way to seeing the world that way. Seeing the world from scarcity, seeing it from abundance. Seeing the things happening to you as opportunities to grow versus opportunities to destroy you. Seeing it from a place where my wife is a critical bitch to my wife is a divine mirror here to guide me to a higher, deeper understanding of myself. Here, sex is about coming. Here, sex is about communion and one flesh with my woman. It is the most sacred and intimate experience that a man and a woman can have together, is sex. It is soul sex. It is a connection. But I didn't see that forever. What did I see? My frame was like, I need to count how many times I'm having sex every week. And literally I did. And thousands of other guys I know did too, because we weren't getting it very often. So we started counting and tracking. It was obsession and it was fucking it all up. And then we try to go get sex toys and do all the things to try to spice things. No, it didn't work. None of it worked. What worked was a shift, a pivot in paradigm, a shift in how you saw the word sex, how you understood sex. Yes, penis and vagina. Okay, there we go. But it's more than that. What if orgasm wasn't actually the purpose? What if that was part of the path to the purpose? See, if the story is the point of sex is to come, or if the point of sex is to make babies, and that's the story, then there's no soul sex for you. And now if you're a man, you may just chase vaginas the rest of your life, hoping to feel satisfied, never feeling satisfied, actually just coming and constantly feeling more imprisoned. If money has a narrative for you, a story that protects the frame for you, and it has anything to do with you feeling unworthy, feeling whatever the story is, that money's hard and I'll never have any of it. Okay, that I don't have the skills to pull it off, that I'm going to get eaten up by AI. You have two stories of AI. AI is going to destroy me, or I'm going to leverage AI to win. These are all stories. This is what we work on in the foundational work with all of our men, is we weaponize them to learn how to automatically every day cause a pivot. Now, I'm doing a webinar, and I've got a paper for you, a document I've written I'd like to send you. For those that posted the word pivot under my last live, we're sending those out to you today. Okay, there's no catching this. I've just been told to do this, so I'm doing it. Okay, for whatever the impact this does for you, fantastic. If you find your way to Wake Up Warrior or the Man Arena Tour, that would be amazing. But regardless, there are too many people trapped right now. And with what's happening with AI, what's happening with mass shootings in churches, what's happening with assassinations to Charlie Kirk, what's happening in our political construct, and what's happening inside of race division, sexual preference division, men and women division, economic division, everything's being divided. But I want you to understand it's happening on purpose. So you can be terrified about what's happening, or you can understand what's happening so that you can pivot yourself. If you can pivot yourself, the game will shift. And I want to show you how to pivot yourself. Even if you never come to an event or program that I ever run, even if you don't come step into the hot flame with me, that you at least have a chance. Because ChatGPT is not going to save you. Business world is being flipped on its head the way we know it. And pretty soon, the entire game is going to look exactly the same because everybody's going to be swiping each other's shit using AI. So consider in this, there's a new frame coming forth, and it's a new earth, it's a new possibility. And I want to show you how to pull this off. How can I shift from this frame to that frame? How can I shift in my marriage? How can I pivot in my business? How can I pivot in my body? How can I pivot with God? So type the word pivot in the chat. Whether you're watching this live or you're watching this on demand, type the word pivot in there, and we will give you this. I've got about a 15-page breakdown of this. It's very simple. You can start following it today if you want. And it'll also talk to you a little bit more about our Pivot Protocol event as well as our Man in the Arena Tour events that are coming up. So would love to have you at any of this. But again, don't need you there. But if you feel called to be there, Come. If you don't feel called to be there, at least you got something in your hands. I'm going to keep delivering stuff like this because I want more people to see this. Because if forever I've kept this here, guess what? We're going to go here. I told you we're going to take my entire book of content, everything I've created in the last 14 years. We're putting it all online for free in the next month. You can consume all my courses. You can consume all the content. You can consume it all. Because here's why. The content's not going to save you. What will save you and liberate you is getting to an initiation pivot. And that starts with shifting here. It shifts here. The greatest pivot in your marriage is going to be a mental shift. The greatest pivot inside of your business is a mental shift. The greatest pivot inside of your life is a pivot in your mind. That's why the battlefield is here. And here's the craziest part I'll wrap up with. Again, type pivot in the chat. If you'd like us, my teams are watching us right now. They'll tag you up and we'll send it to you. The thing I want you, last thought. I know I probably said last thought 3 times. Here we go. The greatest pivot that you have to make of all the pivots, it's not sex, it's not money, it's not fitness, okay, it's not body, balance, and business. Those become a byproduct that rise into abundance when you make this pivot of all pivots. And this pivot is simple. It's a pivot to you understanding that God is not outside of you. God is inside you. To shift and pivot from a story that God is someone I talk at versus God is someone I talk to every day. Not in feeling alone. In conversation. A literal conversation with God. There's nothing that will give you greater strength, greater courage, greater hope, and greater power to shift your life than knowing that if no pastor's around, if there's no social media, there's no one, if the world's against you, or if no one's listening to you, or you got no one to consume, that the greatest mentor who's ever existed for you is God the Father. It is through his son, Jesus Christ, that we have the opportunity to connect and commune with Father here. Eden is not a place that existed. Eden is a place here. It is here now. The kingdom is here now. It is in you. It is not some place you're waiting to die to go to. You are to find it here. It is here now. And if you can find it, you'll be guided through all this chaos. God knows the cheat code. There's AI and there's DI. Divine intelligence will always run artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence has no soul. You have a soul. You have dominion. AI does not. You have the power. But that requires you to pivot, and that requires you to reframe reality. And if you can't reframe reality, you'll be stuck with what you've always had. But if you love what you always had, then fantastic. But for most men I meet on a daily basis, they are not happy about what they have. They're not happy about how they feel. They're not happy about what life has given them. So you face a decision. You know what to do. I'm here to help you. Type the word pivot in the chat. Have it hook it up. Again, this live is going to go down here in like 30 seconds. When it does, hopefully my team's captured your pivot so we can send that to you. If not, go back into this and post pivot one more time so we make sure we got you. We'll just DM it to you. And no, we're not using GHL or any of the rest of that to automate it. We're just going to send it to ourselves. Okay? Have a great day. I got to go run some live trainings for the rest of the day. This is Garrett J signing off, saying love and light. Good afternoon.